Welcome to my messy bookshelf. My bookshelf is so messy that I am sitting in the corner of my bookshelf to avoid the rest of the messy bookshelf. Today we are going to discuss or dissect Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is going to have spoilers. If you have not read the book, go check out my Should You Read Red Rising video. Otherwise, stay here and we will do a close reading, kind of. Just look at some details of Red Rising and kind of discuss it. General comments. This book is written very well. His writing, his voice is pretty much made for action, such as his opening scene of Darrow being a helldiver and doing his stuff that he's good at. The rest of this is pretty much like an extended war novel. For me, it wasn't exactly my style because it's like,
oh my god, look, you did another strategy and you attacked another castle, but you kind of failed, but it's okay.
This is kind of how I envisioned Game of Thrones. Weird, tiny battle after tiny battle. Next, can we discuss the naming throughout this book? Augustus Nero. That is like the most obviously and explicitly Roman name I've ever heard. I just feel like that's really obvious, and I don't know if that feels really obvious to other people. Also, from what I've seen, Augustus Nero doesn't exactly seem crazy in a I'm gonna burn down this place and play fiddle while that happens. Augustus is the very classic leader name. I must say, true props for the naming of Au. If you're a gold, you have the connector name Au, AU, and if you're a copper, you have the name CU. There's a copper who's referenced on page 114. Bundulus Q Tancrus. Copper with CU and gold with AU. That's some science shit. The last Roman name I want to talk about is Pax, our big giant guy who has a really meaningful death, who's also really violent and really good at fighting. Pax means peace. It's very interesting because never through the book do I think he actually is a peaceful guy. Even at the end, his death, he's not fighting for peace. His death is for someone else's rise. It's not for general peace in where they are. So I don't think peace exactly describes him, but the delicacy of the idea of peace is a good counterbalance to the massiveness of his physical size. Now, let's discuss Pierce Brown's writing. There's a couple phrases that he really likes to repeat, and I really like his skill at repeating and bringing in startling sentences. First, of course, is the whole intro. On Mars, there is no gravity, so you have to pull the feet to break the neck. They let the loved ones do it. That, solid writing, solid thought. Where the hell was your thought when you were writing that? Repeating that on Eo's death was just meaningful and an excellent writing choice. Now, he also has this phrase that I'm assuming is just going to be the driving phrase of the series, which is live for more. He wrote that, although I couldn't really tell what the hell it says, but it does say live for more. And I think that is a very interesting driving phrase for Darrow and for the book, because it's very inspirational. You say, I will live for more. You think, I'm going to keep reaching. It has a more positive connotation than a vengeful thought. It brings nuance to Darrow's character, but it also doesn't quite fit him because he is so vengeful through this book. But it does serve as a tether to Eo and the tenderness of Eo. One thing I'm pointing out, the upstart group is led, or either called or led, I don't know, I need to remember, by a guy named Ares.
Okay, so you've got Mars and Ares? Really? You gotta put both the Greek and Roman god of war in there.
There's more myths than Greek and Roman, but that's maybe my own frustration. Like, why does every single dystopia have to have people who are named Roman names? Hint, Hunger Games. Everyone there is named Octavia or something like that. Another connection to Hunger Games is that Uncle Nero, the drunk, is the one who's the plotting revolutionary. Very Hunger Games-esque there. One thing I want to ask of all dystopias and anything that has class systems in it, who names classes after colors? Like, this is questioning the entire base of this book, but
What kind of government would name classes after colors?
it just seems so primitive, and this government seems to pride itself on not being primitive.
It calls back to my days in kindergarten where we were like, the girls are the pinks and the guys are the blues and we're fighting, and pink is the better color.
Colors can't be ranked. And if you're ranking classes, I don't know why colors are being used. But that's overthrowing the whole concept of his book, so I'm not gonna dig too deep into that. The linguistics of this book, very well thought. I really like that he has thought about the different phrases that different classes or colors have, especially the importance of bloody damn. I want to reread this book and trace through where bloody damn appears and where it doesn't. It's always when he lets it slip and he lets his guard down, especially in moments of intensity, and it really becomes symbolic of his roots. So props to Pierce Brown on the language that he uses. On our protagonist's development, I'm going to dare say that his development isn't super much, but it wavers a lot. Now that's interesting. So his core character does not change in my opinion. Maybe it like changes slightly, like it goes like this, but he wavers between cocky and scared, irrational. Similarities to Divergent. You've got an institute, people climbing for the top, people fighting, people doing dirty stuff to get to the top. Hunger Games, all trapped in an arena, everyone's killing each other, again, fighting to the top. Harry Potter, you're getting sorted into castles and you're living with these people. Also, there's one moment that kind of sounds like a sorting hat. Ah, House Minerva for brains might be right for you. Perhaps Pluto for the deviousness, Apollo for the pride. Yes. Okay, that was a very random close reading on random details of Red Rising. So I'd like to hear just other random details that you really like from the book, because I really like close reading and getting to see into the little choices that a author might make. So I'd like to hear in the comments what you think of different characters. I didn't even touch on Cassius. That's it. Goodbye for now.